A lot of people know what we do. Everybody knows. Hey, you're a fireman. Oh, you go to fires. But they really don't know what we do.
Being a cop in New York City is, the pinnacle of policing. It's the biggest city in the world.
I think it's just something that you're born wanting to do. It's in your blood.
There's a question out there, what do cops and firemen have in common? So I think that that's where the rivalry comes from.
All the work we do, all the sacrifices that we make, and all the trips and the nights in the hotel and the nights away from the family are all geared towards one thing, and that's to beat the fire department.
You could beat them all year long, you lose this game, your season was a failure. So, and that's the way we all look at it, and losing's not fun.
The one thing I said to myself is, I just want to play in this game once.
How many people train all year to play one day?
There's always a rivalry. There's a respect for each other.
You have two teams out there who play an entire season because they love the game, but ultimately for one game.
We're here, right? We're gonna do this together.
And we play strong, we play as a team, we play hard, and we give it our all. We go out there as one team with the FDNY.
And just when you go out on the ice, just kick ass. I love you guys very much, right?
There's no city in the world like New York City.
Everybody knows everybody on this job. It's one big family.
Guys look out for each other.
The people you meet, friends for life.
It's an extension of your family. When you're with these guys, you work with them, you cook, you eat.
It definitely is a brotherhood.
The camaraderie. My father was a captain in the fire department.
I became a cop because I was following my dad's career.
Well, I come from a family of firemen.
My father was a lieutenant. He was on the job for almost 25 years.
I grew up in a small town upstate, moved down here in hopes of being a fireman. Being a firefighter in Midtown Manhattan's like nothing else.
My dad's retired, my older brother's on the job.
Been a New York City cop 14 years.
Coming up on 7 years.
A little over 6 years.
For whatever reason, I wanted to be a police officer, and here I am, so.
My older cousin's a lieutenant on the job, my grandfather was on the job.
My grandfather was a captain, my uncle was a captain.
It's often said that if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
It's a calling, it's not a job.
There's a reason we call it the job. You know, it's the only thing I could ever see myself doing.
Every day's different. It's not like an office life. You come in and you're doing the same thing every day. They like to say you get a front row ticket to the greatest show in the world.
It's not something where, you're sitting at home one day and you're like, I guess I'll take the test.
I loved working with my friends every day. I loved helping people.
You go out on these runs and try and help people as best you can.
I was a life. I loved the job.
Feel a sense of pride when you put on that uniform.
I loved working for the New York City Police Department.
It's the best police department there is.
You kind of asked to be in a better place than with FDNY.
I joined the fire department February '87. Got to the firehouse and you're a new guy, you're Johnny, and the probie going in, and the first day was ball breaking, which was the best thing that, you say, oh, you go to work to get your balls broke?
We didn't grow up in a house where they told war stories or horror stories, but it's just the friends that came over and the people that they knew and how tight they were when we were growing up as kids, and seeing my uncle and my grandfather with the guys they met through this job and all the opportunities this job has given them.
A job of 33,000 plus police officers, you're going to get 25 good hockey players. People who played hockey in high levels.
Hockey was my escape my whole life. I played every sport, and nothing was like the smell of the ice when you first step on it, that cold feeling, the sound your skates make on a nice sheet of ice.
I started skating when I was like 3 years old and pretty much never looked back.
My dad took me to, an Islanders game back in 1991, so Pat LaFontaine and all that, and I fell in love with it.
I think the best times were going on the road trips with my parents.
He wasn't a hockey guy, but he learned how to play hockey just to coach my brother and I, because we were big into hockey. Never skated until he was middle-aged, so it was pretty funny. He was a football player, baseball player, so imagine him on skates wasn't too graceful. But he did what he could to learn the game, to spend time with us, basically.
I've been with it forever. It's been a real big part of my life.
Since I was 5 years old, it was where I went. It was my safe place. It was where I didn't think about anything except the puck and my job.
Everything that you want in a sport is in there.
It's fast, doesn't stop.
You have the speed, you have the sound, you have the emotion, you have the physicality in the game.
You can get 7 stitches and you come back on the ice and you're playing with, with the stitches in your face.
It's a team sport in the truest sense, you can't do it by yourself.
It's not like other sports where you're sitting there and you're watching and you're waiting for the next play. It never stops.
I don't think you stop being a hockey player when you leave the rink. I feel like hockey players have a respect for the game of hockey more so than people who play other sports have for that sport.
On both sides, I'd say, we've all played high school, we've all played juniors, we've all played college. Me, I'm 42 years old, to be still playing competitive hockey.
We have a tighter bond than any team I've ever played for. And I think that goes because of what we do for a living.
Come on, fuck up.
This team allows us to continue on and to still be competitive and to get those juices flowing.
For our team alone, we have a couple kids that were drafted by NHL teams.
After my freshman year, I was drafted by Toronto, and I signed after my junior season to go play with St. John's, their farm team.
I played for a team called the Danbury Trashers in the United Hockey League.
I got a couple of cracks in the CHL. That was a lot of fun.
This team, these 2 teams, have given all of us a reason to continue on our hockey careers and to make a difference when other guys are taking the kids just to the rinks.
So as far as the level goes, I feel like every year it gets better and better.
Guys, you're here to make a team. If you're good enough to make the team, you will make the team. If you're good enough to knock somebody out from last year, you'll make the team. You have to be able to show us what you got.
Became a coach in 2001.
This is my 26th year with this team.
3 years ago when I started coaching the team with Jerry.
Give me a shooter! I played with it for 10. I've been coaching it now. I'm lucky enough they keep me around for 16 years. Listen, same shit. You want guys here to get into a routine, especially if they want to be on this team, that's the deal. Even out your lines! Sometimes they do certain things on the ice and I shake my head, and but I try to blame the coaches that coached them a long time ago. I'm trying to figure out what you guys were taught when you were kids.
I don't know many people who know more about the game than him. He's the life of the party. I mean, he can make anybody laugh at any time. He's a pretty fun coach to have.
The passion that Gary has, it's crazy.
Hey, Tuma, feel free to wake people up here. Guys are coming down staring at the floor, you know? You can wake them up a little bit.
He keeps everybody laughing.
I played from 1981 to 2001, so right after I retired, I asked the coach at the time, can I step up and help you guys out? And I was assistant for a while to the head coach, and then he stopped coaching and I took over the head coach position.
Go play forward.
Play forward?
Yeah. No? Is that like against the law?
Play forward.
Well, because I want to take a look at some other guys. I know what you can do. Get down there.
His knowledge of how to play against the fire department, it helps us out a lot because he's been there.
He's been around for almost over 30 years. So obviously he knows, he's seen it all. There's no excuse you can give him if you want to miss practice. You know, he's heard it all.
Mac, thanks for showing up.
Just like the police department, it's all about dedication. They're going into work at midnight and they're getting off at 8 in the morning and they're driving right here. Discipline is a major thing. Commitment is a major thing. You have to be able to say, you know, I'm tired, I don't feel like skating today, you know, but you do it anyway.
I'm very proud to be, you know, associated with this team as a coach.
Coaching a team is challenging. Coaching a team is fun, tiring, work, but I wouldn't give. I'm having trouble giving it up. These are the sons I never had.
You know, people don't understand that running this team is a 24-hour-a-day operation.
We talk to each other more than we talk to our wives sometimes, right?
I talk to your wife pretty often.
You do, right?
A lot of guys come out for this team and don't make it. This year you have a kid that's on the team that his father's on this team. A new kid coming down and he really wants to make this team, and you tell him that, you know, okay, we're going to keep you around. You can see the smile on his face. I think that's great.
The 25 guys who are out there wearing blue and gold, those guys are working hard for it. It's not just given to them. So it's a commitment.
I've wanted to play for this team since I was 6.
Excellent.
You need me here, I'll be here.
All right, excellent. If you're on that list, are you prepared to do like everything that's expected of you?
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
What, you're like his attorney right now?
Yes. He's teaching me what to say.
All right. He's teaching you what maybe you should follow his lead.
When I came on in 1981, again, it was just a small organization. And they just played in Coney Island rink. There was maybe 6 of us that tried out that year because the hiring had just started again with the police department. They had not done any hiring from 73 or 74, and then there were layoffs. So now I'm the new kid. Me and about 4 other guys were the new kid. We were the rookies. And I just remember them saying, I remember the coach pulling us into the room and saying, you guys are the future of the team. But then when he handed us the jersey, I remember going home and saying to my dad, wow, I'm part of the NYPD hockey team now. And it was a tremendous honor, and I haven't looked back. There's a lot of pride, respect, not to wearing anything with NYPD on it, or FDNY on it, and you should be treated so.
And on the back there are no names. It says bravest. And you get on this team, you wear this jersey proud.
You know, guys at my firehouse rip on me all the time. Oh, you got hockey, you got hockey. I'm like, yeah, but I take pride in putting on the FDNY sweater in front of 18,000 people. It's prideful.
It's beyond an honor. Whenever you put a jersey on that says FDNY across the chest, it really means something.
It took me a long time to get to this team. I had to get promoted to come play for this team. And I remember when they handed me the jersey before the game, just looking at it like, wow, I guess I could only equate it to someone that would play for the national team. You know, to wear that USA across your jersey. I mean, that's what that FDNY meant to me. It was like, wow, I'm doing this no matter what. You can't take this away. Even if it was only that one game, I was able to do it.
I mean, the percentage of guys that play hockey for this department compared to the amount of people that work for this department is astronomical. You know, it's crazy how lucky we are to just be a part of this.
Playing for this team is an honor. It's something that I cherish. I thought about it as a kid. It's something that I'm very proud of.
Small fraternity on the job that, you know, not everybody gets to be part of. So I consider myself lucky that for 6 years I got to be part of it. Certainly playing on that team, I missed the guys, I missed the trips, I missed the practices. Practices were fun, you know. I miss, what don't I miss?
Yeah, it's got good and bad days. It's definitely tough. I wouldn't say it's anything easy. It's not supposed to be easy.
At times, the general consensus of the average everyday citizen is that, what do you guys do all day long?
The stuff that you see, the investigations and the leads that they take you down, the roads that they take you down, these investigations, it's a dark world out there, some of these things.
Between building inspection, making sure everything's working right, training. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, they sit there and say, well, you know, there aren't fires every day, but when there is one, you want us there.
We're dealing with someone, you just got in a car accident, you just got robbed, somebody in your family just died. So we are always with people in grim situations. So it takes a toll. It's always the worst case scenario for the most part with us.
The stress of, especially on my family, the stress of not being home a lot. You know, I'm always at work. All of us are always at work. It seems like we're never home. You know, when we are home, for the short amount of time, we get a couple hours sleep, we gotta go right back again. That definitely has a stress on your relationships with everybody, friends, family, especially you know, your kids.
Not being at home at night with your kids, tucking them in bed for nights, you know, nights on end, missing birthday parties or you know, their games on the weekends.
There's guys at the table sitting here that haven't been home for Christmas since they came on this job. They haven't been home for Thanksgiving since they came on this job.
It's just like we're a team. If one guy doesn't do their job, somebody could seriously get hurt on either end.
A scenario where sometimes these guys go to work and they don't come home. People don't understand that. They think, you know, we'll go to work at 9 o'clock and we're off at 6 and we're coming home. Well, that doesn't happen for everybody sometimes.
There's always something about guys getting hurt, you know, police officers all over the country getting hurt.
And I think they have a tough job. I wouldn't want to do it. It's a thankless job. I see the way that people treat them and the way that, you know.
I feel all firemen, cops throughout the world have to be brave to do the job that they're doing. Like they say, you know, we're going in when the others are coming out.
The hardest thing with our job is just making sure that we come home safe.
We have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
There's a major incident in Lower Manhattan.
We just had a plane crash into level 4 of the World Trade Center, transmit a second alarm, and start relocating companies into the area.
September 11th, 2001 was my first day in the field. So right about when I got to the Verrazano Bridge, I could see the first tower was on fire. So I immediately drove home because my gear was at my house. I never made it to a firehouse.
If this was an accident, it would be a needle in a haystack kind of accident.
At that point, nobody knew the extent of what they were going to be walking into.
September 11th, we actually had our first tryout that day, so I was actually off on a mutual. I had my little daughter, my other two daughters were in school, and we seen it on the news.
And I just remember running to the payphone and calling my mom, and she had said that Dad had already left.
He responded from home. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in 7th grade. I was in science class, and we heard what happened. They didn't really tell us. My mom picked us up at school, took us home, and said, "Listen, you know, Dad's not going to be around for a while."
And the second one went down, and it was just from there. It was just 1,000 thoughts.
Oh my God!
My God!
Oh my goodness! Oh God! There's another one.
There's another one. You have a second plane into the
And now you have to move from talk about a possible accident, talk about something deliberate.
President Bush is speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a difficult moment for America.
You know, we heard on the radio, you know, the second tower was hit, and it was like, oh, we're under attack.
The citywide call went in that everybody to respond to their firehouses.
And the things that were going through our minds, it was bizarre, crazy just trying to think of the brothers, what challenge they have ahead of them, and then we heard the first tower collapsed.
The whole side has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed.
The building has collapsed. It folded down on itself. Underneath. Stand by. There's people close to you. I can't breathe no further.
I've never seen anything like this.
That is about as frightening a scene as you will ever see.
America, offer a prayer.
One has to assume that thousands of lives have been extinguished.
There are no words.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
And take a look at the poignant picture you see there. The Statue of Liberty, folks, is still standing.
It's tough to even talk about it. We lost guys in my firehouse.
And right away we knew. We lost a lot of people.
I actually went to the hospital to donate a pint of blood because I'm O negative. Then after that, I got on a bus and got down to ground zero.
Everybody just got on buses just to get down there. And then they stopped us. They said we can't go down because it was chaos, basically. The other tower had fallen. There was a lot of guys missing.
It was tough not to see him for a while. I remember he didn't come home for like 2 or 3 weeks. Spend most of his days searching and in the ground rescue efforts. It took a toll on him, I think, emotionally. He never really opened up about it too much to us. We just knew that, each person deals with it differently, and my father was no different.
It was a rough day for the family, rough couple of months. I also lost an uncle that day. So a combination of my uncle, my dad being down there, it was a lot for us to take in all at one time.
I had gotten the day off. I had a friend of mine working for me for that day, and he was murdered.
My 24 partner who was actually working for me didn't survive.
When the realization was coming in is that, man, there's a lot of guys missing. There's a lot of guys going to be dead. When you're down there and you're working together and then seeing guys that you know for a long time and they're telling you that this guy's missing, this guy's missing, this guy's father's missing. It was kind of hopeless at times, that what can we do? How can we find these guys? Are they alive? So at times when I did get back to the firehouse, I was glad I was with the men, but there was a hopeless feeling.
Has definitely changed the world. It's changed the city. It has changed my life. It has changed everybody's life. When I went to school, the history books were World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, and the Vietnam War, which I kind of went through school with, and now this is really a major part of the history books.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed.
I can hear you! I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
This nation took one on the chin that day, but we're resilient, and we bounced back because of the FDNY and the NYPD.
One of the towers, that's the crazy thing about it, one of the towers went down. It was who went the right direction, who went the wrong direction. There were some chiefs at that command station went the wrong direction. They lost their lives. Some other chiefs went the other direction. They're here today.
Ray Downey is my great uncle on my father's side. He's a well-respected individual in the fire scene.
He was one of the original members of the hockey team, so without guys like him, there wouldn't be a hockey team.
Was an innovator in his time. I always asked him about his beepers. Whenever I see him in the backyard at a family event, he always had a bunch of beepers. They would go off once in a while. I was always intrigued about that. Even though he's home with his family, he still had an eye on what was going on out there.
When I heard his name as one of the fire officers who perished on that day, it hit me personally.
I was away in college at the time, and I found out later on in the day. It probably wasn't until like 6, 7 o'clock at night that I believe my brother called me.
First game after 9/11.
Played the Buffalo Sabres.
There's no more exciting place to watch a hockey game than Madison Square Garden. It's the start of a new home season for the New York Rangers as they take on the Buffalo Sabres.
Tonight, more than at any time in our lives, we are proud to be New Yorkers.
And I was on the ice because the Rangers were nice enough to ask both the fire department team and our team to come down.
Here tonight, as our special guests and honorary members of our team, are representatives from the New York City Police and Fire Department hockey teams.
And we were in our jerseys, and the ovation that we got was great.
One of the firemen came out with a helmet and skated over to Mark Bessier with Ray's picture.
I just said to myself, wow, this is really going to be something big.
And nobody told us. The guy just did it on his own, which turned out to be a legendary thing he did.
The Rangers are a class act organization. They honor everybody, and for Mark Messier, the captain of the New York Rangers, to put that helmet on was a special moment for the guys who were there and for the whole department.
We'd like to dedicate this season to all of you and all the heroes. Thank you.
It was support for New York City. He was showing that he stands behind us, that he's got our back and he's got the city's back. It was a symbol.
I think the fact that the hockey team would retire the number of a guy who hadn't played on it in 20 or 30 years says a lot. It says a lot about how once you're on the team, you're always on the team. That's what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to remember and carry on the traditions. That's what makes the job so great.
Wow, we're arrogant. I look up at World Trade Center and the United States, we're, hey, listen, we build it bigger, we build it stronger, but I got a problem when you can build a building, when you can't build the lives of those who risk their lives without prejudice.
Nearly 3,000 people died at the World Trade Center on 9/11, but the list of victims keeps growing.
On an issue we never thought we'd have to keep anyone honest about, caring for 9/11 first responders.
If I shut my eyes, I could smell ground zero. Probably why I only sleep 4 hours a day.
You see guys who were working that day or guys who worked during that time period, and you see it on their faces. I mean, the numbers just keep growing. You go down to the medical office if you're injured or just for your annual medical, and you go look at the line, and half of them are 9/11 related illnesses.
So back in 2010, okay, after far more lobbying than should have ever been necessary, Congress passed what was called the Zadroga Act, funded health care for 9/11 first responders who'd gotten sick working at Ground Zero after, funny story, the government told them that the air was safe, but it gave them cancer. Yeah.
So I have several 9/11 illnesses.
My father he passed away in 2008 from 9/11 related brain cancer.
My dad, he has a variety of health issues now.
Actually, on 9/11, my health issues actually started. After being there for about an hour or two, I got a pretty bad bloody nose. and it bled for like 3 or 4 hours. And then after that, it bled every day for like a year or two. 2007, a few dozen polyps on my sinuses and in my nasal passage. So I was constantly on antibiotics. I was in and out of the hospital with fevers that wouldn't go down. GERD, which is a pretty common 9/11 illness. Sleep apnea, chronic sinusitis, PTSD, which I think most guys are, at this point, that's where I'm at. But I'm one of the lucky ones.
You can't tell somebody to move on from something so horrific and so traumatic when they're left with this scar that has never healed over the last 15 years. For one reason or another, people like Ray Pfeiffer, Kenny Specs, their scars have not healed.
Anyone on the job knows who Ray Pfeiffer is. He's the legacy.
I was a life. I loved the job. I wanted to stay. But I have stage 4 cancer. I have stage 4 renal cancer that spread to my bones. I have brain cancer, lung cancer. I have a lot of complications. But I'm a lucky guy. You know, I was diagnosed in 2009. The people that were murdered on 9/11, they didn't get to say goodbye. I got 15 plus years to be with my family, you know, so I got a little cancer. Nobody gets out alive.
They're constantly reminded every day when they wake up because of their medications or because of their dying of the illness or because they went to another funeral. I've been to 156 funerals. How do I get on from that?
People have had their lives shortened. People have lost their fathers, their mothers. People are still dying.
Right now, there's more cops that died of 9/11 cancer than died on 9/11. There's over 1,100 New York City firefighters, paramedics, EMTs that have cancer from working down on a pile. There's not one firefighter, paramedic, EMT, police officer that stepped foot on hollow ground down there that doesn't think they're going to get cancer.
Every day I think of it, every day. You know, the older I get, and you know, like I said, you know, I was just in the bathroom the other day in the firehouse, and there was, I believe, 5, you know, post 9/11 deaths. You know, so you got the department orders, their faces, every day I think of it.
15 years out, it's still coming.
Stewart, who famously took up the issue on The Daily Show, was in Washington at a rally today with lawmakers and hundreds of FDNY firefighters.
I'm here today basically to apologize. So I don't really want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to them. I want to apologize to all the men and women, the first responders, that you had to come down here today. I'm embarrassed.
The initial Zadroga Act, which was a 5-year bill which got passed in 2010, established a database, basically whether you go through the fire department, the police department, or the World Trade Center health program. And the initial program was where they were gathering all this information, and by the time the bill expired in 2015, we had 0 cases of fraud.
You're here because they couldn't prove the link.
Well, they actually, no, they proved the link.
I see, but there was a lot of fraud.
There was no fraud. There was no fraud.
So no reason to not renew it permanently.
You're not from around here, are you?
At the end of 2015, the bill had expired, and that's when the whole fight began to get it extended permanently.
Why would Congress, why wouldn't they automatically extend the Zadroga Act?
People don't understand, especially for those of us who were actually on the job, your health insurance isn't going to cover an illness that you got in the line of duty. So it becomes a gray area, you know, and even if it does, when you get cancer, cancer medications can cost $100,000 to $200,000 a year. You know, I have friends who had to put their houses up because the cancers they had weren't covered under the bill yet.
I run a foundation that helps people more so than those who are able to help them better than me. We've done more with less resources than most city government or federal agencies.
I'm here in the Senate building, the Russell building, to witness the majesty of our nation's legislative process, the beauty, the intelligence, the compassion. I'm just with you. We're here to see if shame works. Shame. An emotion one might experience if, say, you were a senator who tweeted after 9/11, "We will never forget our heroes, but forgot them by not signing on to this bill."
It was one of the most humiliating things I've had to do in my life. Because I had to put on my uniform and drive 4 hours from my family to essentially beg a 22-year-old intern to give me 5 minutes to explain to them what happened when they were in 4th grade. And they didn't want to hear it, and most people wouldn't even let us through the door. They wouldn't even take meetings with us.
And they fought for the tens of thousands that couldn't travel with us. And they put members of Congress and the Senate on the spot and challenged their leadership and challenged their humanity to do the right thing. Our nation's leaders, our elected officials in DC, have a moral responsibility. Their first priority is to serve and protect their constituents, and many of them failed at that.
50, 60 times Ray Pfeiffer's going down there in his wheelchair and riding around the halls, and he's the kindest person you'll ever meet. And to have to see a guy who can't walk, who's had stage 4 cancer since 2009, have to ride around and beg these people to listen to him, that makes you angry.
The only conclusion that I can draw is that the people of Congress are not as good a people as the people who are first responders.
Oh, well, John, that's the only, I don't know. That's what I think.
We'll let folks know, as I have already, that I support it. The question is, let's find a way to pay for it.
When you guys want to find money, and you can find money. So that pay for stuff really just doesn't reach, it's not passing the litmus test with me. I'm sorry, at all.
That night, Senator Portman of Ohio signed on to the bill. So maybe Shane does look.
If it wasn't for him going on Colbert and hijacking the Daily Show, I'm not that sure the bill would have passed.
When I saw people like Ray Pfeiffer and Kenny Speck and Rob Serra, I got to see them firsthand take the fight to Washington, D.C. and win.
We celebrate the legacy they have, and those guys are the ones who prove that we are the bravest.
What I'm most proud of is I served my country in the Army, and I served my country again. And while it was so small and insignificant, I still can rest easy knowing that when my tombstone is put above my dead body, it will say this man tried. No name, no date of birth. I'm good with that.
Well, it's not unusual to see a brawl at a hockey game, but what about when the players are New York's finest and bravest? The chaos erupted in the middle of a charity event between police and firefighters.
It's hockey. It's part of the game.
It's entertaining, that's for sure. They'll yell out FDNY sucks or fire sucks, and we yell out Dunkin' Donuts. And it goes back and forth, PD sucks, FD sucks.
I remember looking at Gary and saying, holy shit, this thing just started in a flash. And the next thing you know, it went crazy.
But at the end of the day, win or lose, I always go to the winners' parties.
And you know why it goes crazy? Because everybody has the pride, and nobody's going to back down.
I had a lot to do with the start of the fight, as probably most of the world knows.
It's hockey. Sometimes a fight breaks out. Sometimes it's bad.
It's a hockey fight.
But it got us on the map, though. So I guess you're welcome.
But I remember I was on vacation after the game, and I came back to work, and my sergeant was in Italy, and he had seen that brawl on the news in Italy.
Anytime you play sports, the emotions are high, and it just, one bad thing just led to another. It was a bad spot of the ice. It was near the bench, and it just escalated.
Nobody got thrown out.
What are you gonna do? Right?
NYPD and FDNY, it's kind of like growing up when you fought with your brother. Brothers and sisters fight, brothers and brothers fight, and then get up and hug each other.
It was guys sticking up for each other, and that's what a team's all about. But it doesn't represent what the game is all about. I mean, it's good hockey.
There's always a rivalry, but there's a respect for each other.
And it's pure emotion. You have two teams out there who basically play an entire season because they love the game, but ultimately for one game.
All the work we do, all the sacrifices that we make are all geared towards one thing, and that's to beat the fire department.
We could beat them all year long. You lose this game, your season was a failure.
We have a lot of respect for each other. on and off the ice. But like when that game starts, the physicality, the intense rivalry, the speed of the game, and how good both teams actually are, the talent level.
You know, a lot of them played hockey, but not in front of 15,000 people.
Every year I've been on a team we've lost. Maybe I'm the bad omen, but this year we got to beat them. I respect them what they do off the ice wholeheartedly, but on the ice, they're our worst enemies.
I wish nothing but the best for them, but for that 60 minutes, it's just a battle. On the ice, it's second to none. It's a very, very heated game. It's very intense. Anyone who's gone can attest to that.
When you get, 10,000 people, because it's a 50-50 split, screaming at me, hollering at me, knocking on the glass. I remember last year, some kid was hanging on the glass, and I make a habit, I try not to look at the crowd. And there's probably about 10 to 12-year-old kid banging on the glass during one of the things. So I looked at him, I made eye contact with him, and he flips me off. And I was like, wow. I said people really care. Like, the fans are so passionate about this game.
The NYPD, the FDNY, we're the two most popular police and fire departments in the country. The rivalry within the city is so tight and so concentrated that it makes it so much fun to watch.
It's the climax of the season, and this is our Stanley Cup.
Once you come the first time, you want to come back.
We always got a big following in that game. We always got thousands of people to come out to Nassau Coliseum at the time to watch us play. But ever since that game, attendance has been to the point where people are fighting to get tickets. People are, scalping tickets. People are doing everything they can to get their hands on a ticket to this game.
You're not playing them in 2 weeks again. This is your one chance. It's a one-game deal. The fans, they take it personal. The players take it personal. The atmosphere is amazing.
We're here, right? We're gonna do this together, but I know we always want it. I always want it. I don't sleep, till today when this thing's over, but I want this one for our guy in the worst way. This is his year, and I want it for him. Push yourselves for him and the guys who aren't dressing.
We play strong, we play as a team, we play hard, and we give it our all. And we do that on the streets of the city of New York, but we also do it on the hockey rink. All right, so when we get together as a team, we go out there as one team with the FDNY. We play to win all the time. It's all just good luck and play hard. Thank you.
Skill-wise, speed-wise, everything, we should be able to take it to them. Whole game, boys. Right off the bat.
60 minutes, be relentless, all right? Leave it all out there on the ice, all right? Have no regrets, okay?
All right.
The last thing my dad said when he spoke to you guys last year was that he'd take it to the grave, And my dad took it to the grave. I can't tell you guys how much that night meant to him and my mom and I for him to talk to you. I mean, he loved this job until the end. He really did. And just when you go out on the ice, just kick ass for him, all right? I love you guys very much, right?
Remember, have fun. All right, boys.
Good to say it.
Have fun. Let's go.
Nobody pushes us the fuck around out there on that ice. All right, all over the boys, beginning to end. 3 full periods. Let's take that fucking trophy home. Let's go. Hell yeah!
A capacity crowd here in Brooklyn. It's the 2017 annual rivalry matchup. The FDNY, the NYPD, bragging rights on the line.
When they announced your name out there, it was some feeling, a lot of pride, a real sense of accomplishment. I'm here, I'm playing for the New York City Fire Department.
It represents not only me, but my firehouse. Worked there, came through there, died. I represent them. I'm not just representing myself.
I played in front of big crowds before. I played big games, but it's a whole different game.
You're a professional athlete for that day.
After this game, you got to sit on it for another whole year.
We're playing for the brothers in the stands. We're playing for pride. We're playing for pride in those 4 letters across, just like the cops are.
will be my last game.
We never look in the rearview mirror. I'm not worried about the last 3 years, I'm worried about this year. There's no tomorrow.
You know, they got 3 in a row. Now they're on a run that we need to stop.
Woo! Really fucking letting him.
The rivalry is on.
And we're underway here in Brooklyn.
They're a hard-working, grunting type of team that goes and forecheck you, and they will pick on your mistakes and that. And that's how they've scored their goals a lot in the last couple of games.
Shot by Florio, followed up by Strobel, saved by Nano. FDNY on the rush, PJ Burns drops the defensive in the corner, Sangha with it. Pinciotti with a shot, and another saved by Greg Nano. Antonitis with it, he gets the Jets moving into the zone. Around Sean Mullen, fires, score! Off the face-off into the zone.
Hey, you got a whistle here. You're right back up with ones on the ice. You hear me?
Bravos are looking to even it up. Getting the cycle working.
Here we go!
Romano with the puck, backhand, and he scores! The FDNY ties it up at 1 here in Brooklyn. Finest gets the puck out of the zone. Sean Mullen comes out to play, intercepted by Ben DeSinque. He fires, and the shot is blocked by the Bravos. Chris Ryan comes up to the puck, across the blue line into the zone, fires. And Chris Ryan, the former police officer, gives the Bravos a 2-1 lead. And the crowd is starting to arrive. Finest looking to respond. Wiki moves in and sneaks the puck under Sean Mullen, and he scores! After one, we're tied 2-2.
Apparently, you know, I've heard this. Cops like to go to Dunkin' Donuts and drink coffee and eat donuts. So I think that might be what they were alluding to.
Go, boys, 2-2. The first goal, we gave them second, third chance. They got a goal. We gave it to them. Second goal, we gave them the blue line on a power play on a 1-on-2. They got it. If we don't give it to them, they don't get shit the entire day.
Okay, it was even. I thought we outplayed them. Obviously, we can't get in the box and get away from that.
They outplayed us a little bit that period. Puck was in our zone. They're getting all the scrums in front, pucks in front.
That's my 5th year. Are you gonna keep coming back? Every year they have it. Everybody's rooting against everybody else. It's a good time. It's a good time to come against and just cheer for everybody that's coming on.
Don't just go stand in front of the net with your stick up in the air. Find somebody. When the loose puck is bouncing around in there, find someone and lift the stick up.
What do you think of the cops?
We like them, but not here. Not on the ice every day, yes. Every day, yes, not here.
Going forward, pucks that gotta get out. And like Eddie said, throw everything at this goalie. They're not gonna earn anything on this team. It's only gonna be stuff that we give them. So don't give them nothing.
Win the next period. We'll be in fine shape. We'll win the third period.
Sense of urgency here, boys. Let's fucking go. Everything you got.
We're about to kick off the second period here at the Barclays. 2-2, the FDNY, the NYPD. FDNY looking for their first victory over the NYPD since 2013. NYPD looking to keep their streak going with their 4th consecutive win. And a huge hit by Lydell Harrigan. Gets the puck back to Joe Sanger. Sanger starts the play. Passes to Princiati. He shoots and he scores! The Honey Badger gives the Bravest a 3-2 lead here in the early parts of the second period. NYPD looking to respond. Wiki with the puck, looking for his second. Fires, and he scores! Polis moves into the zone with a shot. Oh, and he goes straight into the goalpost.
Turnovers there when the little guy's on the ice. We get a free shot out, or we'll take a free shot.
Going with the puck into the zone. Over to Cookingham, and he scores! FDNY back on top 4-3.
Nice job, boys.
Fuck all, let's go.
Let's go.
And the intensity is racking up here in the 44th annual rivalry game. Both teams not going away easy. The hits just keep on coming. Around the net, saved by Greg Nano. Sanger with the puck, he shoots. Blocked by Scampoli. He took that puck right to the face. And we're done with two. The FDNY leading 4-3.
They took it to us again that period. I hate to say it to you guys. I think they took it to us again. With out-of-man rushes, dumping it in, more scrums in front of the net, throwing pucks to the net, scrum here, scrum here, scrum here. We had one scrum that whole period in front of the net.
Come on, boys. They got shit. Go, boys.
20 minutes, boys. Come on.
We got to be strong on the boards. Our wingers are chipping it to the guy they're supposed to be guarding. They get it, they throw it back down, and we keep fucking cycling again.
20 fucking minutes, guys. 20 fucking minutes. We're doing our best out there. We stay. Move.
50-0, and we lost this game, we lost the season. We have 20 minutes to correct two shitty periods. So go out there for the last 20 minutes with your shoulder popped out, a puck off your face, tired, I don't really fucking care. And push yourself for 20 minutes.
You be the person to go out there to make the difference. That's how you got to look at it, guys. We're one goal down. We get a quick one, it's a brand new game, boys.
You guys are down 4-3 right now. Are you guys going to get back in this game and win it?
Oh, you better believe it. We are. Trust me.
Short shifts, get it in, get changes, keep rolling.
6 months, 20 minutes left, boys.
Keep your heads. All right, we're going to win here.
You can do it, just have to do it.
Oh, FDNY is going to come out big on top. Absolutely. It's going to come out a little bit even now. Third period, they're going to come out strong.
Third period about to begin here in Brooklyn. FDNY is 20 minutes away from their first victory since 2013. Jimmy Hall grabs on to Anatucci. Scampoli and West Cookingham getting into it.
Take it outside, bud! We don't need it!
Time starting to tick away for the NYPD. They need to start getting to Sean Mullen and get some kind of offense going. Shot by Antonitis, comes off the post. NYPD on the power play looking to tie. Around the net, saved by Mullen. Ball comes out to Antonic, looking for a lane to shoot, and it's blocked by Julian Carney. Julian Carney's off to the races, he's in alone. Backhand, and he scores! FDNY leads 5-3 in the third. cops have to find a way to get back into this game. NYPD with the pressure and a shot by Harrigan. Gabby with a shot, follows it up with a slash to Sean Mullen, and the Bravest take exception, and that sets off another melee behind the net. Both teams going at it now. Antonitis and Riordan going at it.
When I cycle, it's great. I don't care. Keep up possession of the puck. But make sure we're covering them. Yeah, all right?
FDNY with the puck, and it trickles in. With 3 straight goals, FDNY leads 6-3 over the Finest.
We'll kill fucking 3 minutes. I don't give a fuck, okay?
7:50. Time is running out for the Finest, with FDNY looking for their first win since 2003 over NYPD. NYPD with the empty net, looking to get a spark going in the final minutes. Shot from the point, and McCready misses the empty net. He had Sean Mullen beat. Reno finds the puck. He fires it at the empty net, and he scores! Tom Reno in his final game to seal it up.
Love this team. Love this team. Best game all year. Nice job, kid. Good for an old man.
Yeah, not bad. 3-point game.
PJ, good to see you. How are you? Good. Nice job.
Better team from jump.
Thanks.
6-8 in the first period. Great game. You're gonna beat up this
What's up, Jerry? Nice job,
man.
Thanks.
Good job. Let him come back.
Nice job, guys. Nice job, coach.
Good job.
Nice job. Losing is not good. You gotta win. They played well.
What a game for Sean Mullen.
It meant everything. Yeah, I mean, that's the least I could do is go over there. They've always supported me, let me do this, and it's a big commitment, this team.
Trophy is checkpoint gate to Lawrence.
You guys can be crazy on that bench, but you played well.
It's a privilege and an honor to be on this team, and I'm grateful to be the third generation to bring the tradition going for the family.
And the MVP is Tom Reno.
good things up.
In Tom Reno's last game, he wins the MVP for the bravest.
I mean, the guy's, what, 48, 49 years old? I mean, and he's the heart and soul of this team. This is so much better than losing. The guys played perfect hockey tonight.
The guys work hard and be proud of the fact that you're representing the New York City Fire Department or the New York City Police Department. That's the lifeblood of the city.
The guys take it serious. It's a serious event, but at the end of the day, they're shaking hands.
And on the other side, a crushing loss for the NYPD.
Giving this sport up is tough, and giving up this team, this event. I mean, I'll still be involved, but I don't know what it's going to be like just on the other side. I mean, been doing it for, like I said, I've been involved in this game 21 years. I love this site, I love this team. I love everything about it. The opportunities it's given me, the people I've met over the 20 years, even with both teams. When I played with PD, same thing. I still know people over there, so both teams have been great to me. I was a cop, I was a bus driver in the city. This is the top. People do it 30, 40 years, and there's a reason why.
The amount of money that we've raised for the Widows and Children's Funds has grown exponentially. And because of the physicality and because of the rivalry of that game, more and more people buy tickets. And when more and more people buy tickets, more money goes to those charities. And that's the whole reason why we play the game.
You see a lot of high intensity, you see hitting, you see fighting. But God knows, the shit hits the fan, they'll all be there for each other.
It taught me a lot in life, and I didn't really realize it till I joined the fire department. What sports teach you as a young kid. You learn teamwork, all these things that being a firefighter go hand in hand.
You're not just playing for the 25 guys in that room, the other 30,000 people that are with us every day out there in the commands. I mean, so the fact that it's so important to them makes it, even more important to us.
I've been playing it since I was 4 years old, and I'll play till I'm 100 years old if I can.
I've never experienced anything like it in my life, and I never want it to end.
I'd do this forever if I could.
We got to tell these stories of the people, of who's going to remember these people that were murdered that day. Once that generation's gone and we don't hear those stories again, it's just history. A lot of good friends still with post-traumatic stress. We still got to remember the people that are dying now. That's why we do these stories. It's about the brotherhood.
Mom, if you can hear me, I think I made it. 20,000 fans front the stage I'm standing on. I want you to know I appreciate it. One day I'll come home, we can celebrate. Mom, I gotta go, the curtain's calling. All the way from Rome, I'm really sorry. Tell my little sister, I said hey. One day I'll come home, we can celebrate.
Yeah, these late nights and these long drives, full moons under dark skies, tears fall behind phone screens, lonely hearts lead to bad dreams. Wish that I could be there for you, I hope the life will be fair for you. It's hard to sleep cause I'm always thinking and passing out off of codeine. And I hope you know that I'm not complaining, hope you know I appreciate it. Every day's just filled with love, man, every day is just thanks and praises. But memories of your birthdays, they get me in the worst ways. And you say that it's okay, when you get home we can celebrate.
Mom, if you can hear me, I think I made it. 20,000 fans front the stage I'm standing on. I want you to know I appreciate it. One day I'll come home, we can celebrate. Mom, I gotta go, the curtain's calling. One day I'll come home, we can celebrate.
There's an old saying out there, and I might get in trouble for this, but I was a cop also. There's a question out there, what do cops and firemen have in common? And the answer is that they both want to be firemen. So I think that that's where the rivalry comes from.
If our job was easy, a cop would be doing it.
killing them now, but with much respect and certainly.
Without a doubt.
Certainly.
Much love.
You know, every girl I've met since high school, I told them my first love in life is hockey. You either get on board or you get out. My girlfriend doesn't like that.
We gotta put that in sometime. What are some stories about this team that you think people would be interested in seeing?
None. Give me a minute.
I've never forgotten my time as a New York City police officer, ever. And I believe that my time as a New York City police officer, realizing how difficult that job is, because that job is difficult, made me appreciate being a firefighter that much more.
Yeah, leave that part out. I can tell you something off the record later that involves PD.
But the excitement is always there.
That's one of ours.
That's mine.
Oh,
I think that was a federal offense. Nah, I got nothing.
I was just kidding about that. I'm just kidding about that.
Yeah, I gotta wear my colors.